Welcome, everyone. Ready to dive into a life less ordinary?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, so we're looking at this individual, this fascinating guy, who seems to push limits like it's breathing.
And what makes this deep dive so interesting is the source material. It's not a book or a documentary, it's Facebook.
Facebook, yeah, over a decade of posts, almost like we're peeking into a journal.
Exactly. Unfiltered, real time.
So right off the bat, what struck me is this. 2005, he has major surgery, talks about turning bionic.
Wow.
Yeah, imagine having to relearn how to walk. But does he let that stop him? No way.
It's like it ignited something.
Right. He goes from relearning to walk to marathons, Ironman, cycling. It's crazy.
It's that resilience, Finding strength you didn't know you had.
And he's very clear about not doing it alone. Cecilia, his wife, his mother, Sonia, the kids, friends.
That network, that's fuel for the fire sometimes.
He specifically mentions Cecilia always supporting me. Like, behind every epic feat, there's a team.
Makes you think about your own life. Who's in your corner? Pushing you further than you'd go alone.
Absolutely. And speaking of pushing, his Atacama adventure. This one's intense.
Oh, the Atacama, that's brutal.
Intense sun, freezing nights, and the distances. He says he felt totally broken after those mountains.
You're out there exposed. It's testing you on every level.
He even writes, "I've never felt so cold. I thought I was going to die."
Like that's raw. What drives someone to put themselves there willingly?
Right. Is it the thrill, testing limits?
Yeah.
Or something deeper, like proving something to yourself?
Maybe it's all those things. But there's also self-discovery in the extreme, right? You learn what you're truly made of.
He mentions two things as deeply impactful: the 2005 surgery and a trip to Santiago de Compostela in 2016.
Interesting. Two very different experiences on the surface.
He just states it simply. The two most impactful moments were my knee operation in 2005 and the trip to Santiago de Compostela.
So surgery, that's forced vulnerability, but also, like he said, becoming bionic, a new beginning.
And Santiago.
That's a pilgrimage, a journey inward. Many find it deeply spiritual.
So first, the body's awakening, then the soul's.
Beautifully put. It's an evolution, isn't it? From physical limits to something more profound.
This reminds me, he keeps mentioning simple things. Sunrises, nature, animals, human connection.
Right, like finding the extraordinary in the ordinary.
He says the importance of little things, like an embrace, sunrise, nature, and animals. It's a contrast, this guy pushing himself to extremes, but also finding joy in the quiet moments.
It speaks to presence, doesn't it? Appreciating what's right there, even in the midst of chaos.
Makes you think, how can we bring more of that into our lives? Slow down, notice the beauty.
Exactly, and it goes deeper to what truly matters: connection, peace, those things.
And then towards the end, he kind of sums it up. At the end, it is about sharing experiences and live in peace. What do you make of that?
Our experiences, good and bad, they mean more when shared. It's about connection, understanding.
Especially in a world that feels so divided these days.
Exactly. It's a reminder that we're not alone, our journeys are woven together. And peace, well, that's something worth striving for, isn't it?
Definitely. There's a lot more to unpack here, but that statement, it's powerful.
It really is.
And speaking of things that are powerful, his bicycle, Michaela, there's a whole story there.
Michaela, huh? That's interesting. A bicycle with a name, there's got to be a story there.
Oh yeah, it's more than just a bike. It's like a partner in crime, almost.
A partner in adventure, you mean?
Exactly. He even writes about Michaela in this almost poetic way. Like there's this one post, Patagonia, crazy winds.
Patagonia, yeah, I can imagine.
She says, when the side winds hit, wanting to throw me to the ground, she bravely accommodated me on her back and stitched the zigzag with courage without knocking me down.
Wow. It's like she has a personality.
It's not just a machine to him.
Yeah.
And it comes up again and again.
That's a recurring theme.
Crossing the Andes, he talks about them running without a single blister. He even mentions following tips from more experienced people, like he's learning from others, even for the bike.
Preparing Michaela, making sure she's ready for anything.
Right. He talks about maintaining her. It's almost meticulous.
It reminds me of those myths, heroes with their special weapons.
Oh yeah, like Excalibur or something.
Exactly. Michaela's his tool, enabling him to push further, explore more. It's almost symbolic.
And maybe even representing all the things that help us achieve our goals.
The tools of the trade, huh?
Yeah, whether it's a rider's pen, a hiker's boots, or a cyclist's, Michaela, they become part of the journey.
Part of the story.
And speaking of the journey, the sheer variety of places this guy goes.
It's almost unbelievable, right?
Atacama, Andes, Santiago. But that's barely scratching the surface.
Yeah.
French Alps, Iceland, Canadian Rockies.
He was even in Colombia, did that insane climb.
The longest in the world. Is like he has this map in his head, got to fill it all in.
That insatiable curiosity, right? But it's not just the far-flung places.
Oh, you're right. He explores locally, too.
Cycling through Brazil, finding those hidden gems, meeting people.
Adventure doesn't have to be exotic, does it?
Nope. It's that mindset, being open to the world wherever you are.
But even with all this,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't sugarcoat the tough parts. Getting lost, bad weather, the bike breaking down.
Those moments of doubt, exhaustion, like in the Atacama.
He talks about it honestly. There's this line, the difficulty of a bicycle trip is not the first day, it's the second.
Uh-huh. Oh, I feel that second day slump.
It's about pushing through even when the initial excitement fades.
That's where the real strength comes in. And, life's kind of like that, too.
Oh, totally. There are going to be those second days.
It tests you. But we've all got that resilience inside. Got to tap into it.
And he's not afraid to learn from others either. Remember the Andes crossing? How he followed advice to avoid blisters?
Yeah, tapping into that community knowledge.
Sharing experiences? Right. Living in peace, like he said. It's not just about him conquering stuff. It's bigger than that.
Leaving a trail for others to follow. Inspiring, connecting.
And there's this one post, it's from after his Nepal trip, really stuck with me, he says.
Let me guess. Is it the one about the best things in life?
Yeah. The best things in life are not things. They are the experiences we live, the people we love, the friendships we cultivate.
It's so simple, but so true. He gets it. It's not about stuff. It's about living a life full of meaning.
And sharing it, connecting with others. That's the piece he talked about.
It's inspiring, honestly. It makes you want to get out there and live a little.
Me too.
Yeah.
And you know what else struck me about his posts? This theme of gratitude.
Gratitude, yeah. It's woven through everything he writes, isn't it?
It's not just, oh, thanks for the support kind of gratitude. It's deeper.
He's grateful for the experiences themselves, even the tough ones. Like, he sees the value in it all.
Even the setbacks, the exhaustion, it's like fuel for him somehow.
There's this one post, Andy's brutal day, you can tell he's wiped. But at the end, he says, thanks to God, everything went well, and we arrived safe and sound to return to our homes and our families. We have already planned the next trip. Stay tuned for the next chapters of our life stories.
Wow. Yeah, even then, he's finding the positive.
It's like gratitude is his secret weapon.
Helps him stay resilient, find joy even when things are tough. Makes you wonder, what if we all did that more?
Right. Imagine how different our lives would be if we focused on what we're grateful for instead of what's missing.
It's a choice, isn't it? Our mindset shapes everything.
Absolutely. And I think it ties back to that peace he talks about. When you're grateful, you're more content, more at peace with yourself.
And that ripples outwards, right, to how you treat others, how you see the world.
It's like his whole journey, the physical stuff, the adventures, the message of peace, it all comes back to gratitude.
It's the foundation holding it all together.
And it's something we can all learn from, It's not about having a perfect life. It's about choosing to see the good, even in the messy parts.
So powerful. As we wrap up this top dive, what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away?
I hope they remember that each of us has that capacity for adventure, resilience, and connection. And it all starts with gratitude.
Couldn't have said it better myself. To everyone listening, embrace that power of gratitude. Notice the good, appreciate the simple things, find joy in the journey. The best things in life aren't things at all. They're the experiences, the people we love, the connections we make. That's what makes life truly rich and meaningful.